we're indulging an ignorance by not suggesting that there is more to it than that.
Can you become male?
I don't want to be a male.
But can you become male? Is there anything that could be done that could turn you into a male in the way that I'm male and Piers is male? Is that possible?
See, now, do you see how you've qualified your question? So you first asked me, can I become a male? And I would suggest probably yes, in terms of medically.
Well, I'm joined now by...
All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. I got another fascinating episode from the Piers Morgan show. And, you know, the last episode that we watched was just absolutely hilarious. And I don't know where he keeps finding these people that are living in La La Land, but you keep doing what you're doing, because they are entertaining, and that's it. They're not smart. They're not coherent. They're not logical. They're not rational. They're not anything that any sane person in this world is to be. So, but let's watch this interview together. This is, I don't know who she is, but she's on an episode with this guy named Zuby, who is basically he made a name for himself in the red pill space. He's been in a lot of Just Pearly Things episodes and a lot of relationship type podcasts. And he's with Piers Morgan today, and then with this woke black woman. I don't know where the hell they found her from. And this debate is just absolutely hilarious and nonsensical. But let's watch it together, and then I'll also grab some comments. I'll put them at the end. We'll read them once we finish the clip. Let's get it.
Olympic marathon runner Mara Yamauchi, and by rapper and podcast host Zuby. Great to see you here, Zuby, who once took part in a weightlifting competition 4 years ago as a woman to kind of prove a point. And guess what? He won. And by Talk TV contributor Paul Arone-Adrian, who will still be attempting to defend the indefensible on this issue. Well, Glenique Frank, just to be clear, or Glenn Frank, whichever Glenn or Glenique is identifying as this week, was invited to appear but pulled out this morning. And like I say, Glenique or Glenn, again, we don't know, because Glenique's going back to being Glenn in future races and has always run as Glenn before, did say it was wrong. But you are asked when you enter the London Marathon, which category do you want to run in? Male or female? Or non-binary? It's ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous, as I keep saying. But there are still people who think this is perfectly fair and equal. And we should all just stop making such a fuss about it. So, let's have a little chat about this.
So just to give you some context, they're talking about the gentlewoman, whatever, like he said, he identifies as that won a marathon against women, and there was like 14,000 of them, and he became, you know, of course, he was first place. So he's a man who identified as a woman who raced against women in a marathon, and he became first out of 14,000. Let's continue.
Start with you, because you come all the way in here. Great to see you in London. I love the fact that you tested all this 4 years ago, and you did it to raise the problem as an issue. And of course you demolished all the females that you were up against, because physically, as a biological male, you're simply more powerful. But you exposed the futility, if you like, and unfairness and inequality of self-identity if it becomes limitless like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been talking for more than 5 years at this point, but especially the past 4 publicly about the absurdity of the issue. And that's why back in February 2019, I had that tweet I put out there with a video of me breaking the British women's deadlift record while claiming I identified as a woman.
You literally broke the women's record.
Yeah, it was. So to be clear, it wasn't in a sanctioned competition, but it was from one of my training sessions, just showing how easily I could lift a weight that's
well, we're looking at it now.
Kilos.
This is you as a woman.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly difficult.
Lifting about 17 Paul Arone-Adrian, I would imagine. And I know you like a bit of weightlifting, Paul, so why don't you try and lift a bit of that later in your gym? See how you get on. Here's a spoiler alert, you won't be able to. Not because you're not a very strong lady, and not because you're not a very committed athlete in your own right.
Because of the biological differences.
Now, do you get it? Is the penny dropping?
So I get it, but what I wonder is whether you get it, Piers.
What am I missing?
What I wonder is why it is you're struggling with the fact that some people are different.
I don't.
And the people who have decided that they are different and who want to live a different life, some of them have the capacity to do that medically and legally, and they should be permitted to do
respect that. Always have
that makes no sense. Something that's different does not happen because of change that you have, taken upon yourself to make. Something different is different personalities, different preferences, different taste in food, different taste in music. Differences in men and women. But you can't change the unchangeable and say that you're different. That doesn't make it. That's nonsensical. That does not exist in a logical, coherent world. That makes no sense. I can't be a man today and say I'm different because I'm not a woman, and then change into a woman and say I'm different now because I'm a woman that was a man. It makes no sense. It literally. I try to make sense of it, and it's nonsensical, man. It really is.
Always supported trans people's rights to fairness and equality.
Okay, so
right to the point, it clearly erodes women's rights. That's my only concern about it.
So where the absurdity comes, I worry, is where we've got this example of the marathon runner. And this was a fun run. It's the marathon.
It's not a fun run.
Great example. It's a great example.
Tens of thousands of people raise a ton of money, and it's a serious competitive race.
It's a great example of people getting the opportunity to push themselves, not only personally, but also in terms of their charities. And this is a person who did that. And they are now fearful, this person. They're so fearful. They've had to apologise. They've had to offer to hand back their medal.
Well, they weren't that fearful because Glenn entered as Glen Eek, and Glen Eek finished a lot further in the race in the women's field than Glenn would have done in the men's field.
And how relevant is that to you, Piers?
Actually, to everyone I know, to everybody I know that races in the London Marathon, every position counts. They all want to improve their time.
It wasn't a gold medal in the Olympics.
Actually, the front runners in the London Olympics.
It was about taking part.
So you think it's meaningless, the London Marathon?
No, absolutely
it's
not.
Actually
I've competed in the London Marathon,
right.
and I see people running past me. I see people running past me of all different sizes, shapes, running for all different types of causes. And that's what it's all about. It's inclusivity.
All right, but let me bring in an actual Olympian rather than somebody who thinks she ought to be one. Mara, you've been listening very patiently to all this. You've been a proper athlete here. Just try and explain to me, or to Paula really, why this is so unfair.
So males and females have
This is crazy. We live in a world where a woman has to explain to another woman why it's unfair for her to compete with a man. What in the hell? She should be explaining it to men. Hey, I don't want to compete against you guys because it's not fair. Y'all are faster, stronger, bigger. All that, all the above. But she has to explain it to the woman, not the men on the panel. This is crazy. That's what I'm saying. This is an upside down world, man. We live in an upside down world. It's like opposite day. If you guys have seen that episode on SpongeBob, opposite day. We live in an opposite world where good is bad and bad is good, and where, white is black, black is white. It's literally opposite of everything. It's just crazy, bro.
There's a massive difference in our physical abilities. In upper body strength, like in Zubi's bench press and deadlift women's world records, there's a massive, massive difference. In running, it's about 10%. Therefore, we must have sex-based categories, male and female. Otherwise, females would be entirely absent from sport. And to answer Paula's point about it being a fun run, yes, a lot of people enjoy it and do great things like raising money, but Glenn could have done that in the men's category and not caused unfairness for the 20,000 odd females who ran in the mass race. I have to also clarify that Glenn ran as Glenn in the Tokyo Marathon last month, but also in the women's category, as he did in London. And, you can say, well, the mass race is just a bit of fun, the mass race at the London Marathon. But an event like that is either a sports competition or it isn't. If you're going to say it's just a fun run, then why do they have a measured course? Why do they have timing equipment and a referee to enforce the rules? Even if people enjoy themselves and earn and raise money for charity, it still is a competition. Rules matter, and people have to respect the rules. And Glenn on GB News gave an interview last night. It was clear he had no idea what the rules are. He was talking about surgery and passports, but the rules, British athletics rules, which apply to the London Marathon, required testosterone suppression to under 5 nanomoles for 12 months to become eligible, and then continue suppression to remain eligible. He was talking about hormone therapy in the future tense, so it's clear he's done no testosterone suppression at all.
Damn.
He wasn't eligible for the female category, and therefore my view is he should be disqualified because he's not eligible.
Well, no question. There's no question of that. I mean, what's interesting to me, two things about you in particular. One, your courage in speaking out about this, because you were, of course, immediately bombarded with insults and abuse and threats, called a transphobe, a TERF, their favourite phrase, for stating what are simple biological facts. But also, by your own admission, you're slightly left-leaning. You're not on the right. You're not...
A TERF, if you guys don't know what that is, that's trans exclusionary radical feminist. So basically a woman, a cis woman.
I'm trying to score some political point against the left.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people, I mean, I've always probably politically been slightly left of centre, maybe centre. I'm really a journalist. I don't really care about an ideology either way, to be honest with you. But
Right.
I'm certainly not on the right. But like a lot of people, like you, like me, like Bill Maher interviewed last week in America, we find ourselves completely bemused that people, so-called liberals, on this ultra woke side now of the spectrum, have lost their minds.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a centre-left voter all my life, but for me this isn't about left or right. For me this is about the right to safety, dignity, privacy, and in sport, fair competition and safety for 51% of the population. And people say, oh, Glenique only finished 6,100 and something, you know, get a life. But nearly 14,000 women suffered a worse finish position.
Yeah.
What I would say to people who say that is, okay, how many women do you think it's okay to suffer to indulge the feelings of one male competing in the female
Well, what
category?
about, okay, but
you know,
what
give us a number.
Yeah, I totally agree. And what about, I mean, I said to Paula, what about Laurel Hubbard, the New Zealand weightlifter, who qualified for the first Olympics a couple of years ago, having set records in the women's field, but she took the place of a woman weightlifter. The average age for the weightlifters in that competition was about half Laurel Hubbard's age. She'd been very unsuccessful as a male weightlifter by comparison, but she deprived a biological female of an Olympic place in that team. That, to me, is completely wrong. Now,
Absurd.
Someone said to me on TV in America last week, a female congresswoman, well, what would you do about it then? I went, well, fine, I want trans athletes to be able to compete fairly and to be able to compete. So they either compete against their biological sex, which seems to me physically fair, or they have a completely new category of...
And he's talking about the conversation that he had with Katie Porter. She's a congresswoman, I think, from California. I did a video on her if you guys want to go check it out. And he completely demolished her with facts as well. She was just delusional, man.
Transport. Why not?
So there's two things here. Just getting back to the marathon. If Glenique wasn't eligible, then there's no discussion here. Because absolutely, if she wasn't eligible, then she wasn't eligible. What I'm talking about in terms of the marathon is, when I ran the marathon, I was running with men and women, young people, old people, all running together. And what I'm saying is this fear that the headline around this is bringing up. It's bringing up a fear. It's making very vulnerable people, and we know that they're very vulnerable because we're told by the stats that they are the most likely group of people to commit suicide. So this is not just about a fun run. This is not just about women who require vulnerable spaces. This is not what we're talking about.
Okay, but Zubi, I would say to that of course, I'm very aware of the issues that trans people have had and continue to have. But I think people like Leah Thomas, people like Glenique here, they cause massive, bigger problems for the trans community. They make the whole thing look like a mockery.
Yep.
They make a mockery of being trans.
Yeah.
And when you put your hand up as a 6'4" biological man and say, I am now competing against women in a swimming pool, no trans person who doesn't want that attention is doing anything other than saying, this is making my life hell. Why are you doing this?
Yeah, you're absolutely right in that the so-called activists are harming the group that they're claiming to advocate for, as well as harming 51% of the whole human population. Because let's be real, all of this stuff all the negative downstream impacts are on girls and women. They are not on boys and men
Facts.
at all. I'd say this whole thing is incredibly misogynistic, and I don't like to throw that word around too much. To take the conversation up a level as well, I have a question, and the whole thing is, why are we trying to force people, and why are so many people entertaining the denial of reality itself?
Yeah.
Women's rights are incredibly important. Fairness in sports is important. Safety and security and privacy, all of these things are very important. The fundamental problem at the root of this is everyone dancing around pretending that a man can truly be a woman and a woman can truly be a man. This is not me being transphobic or hateful or being a bigot, anything like that. It's simply that reality exists. Biology is real.
And is that reality a legal one? Because in this country
Reality-
it is.
reality-
It is a legal reality, Zubi, that you
What
can change
perspective?
your gender.
You cannot change your biological sex. It's physically impossible.
I'm saying to you,
It is impossible
it's
to
a
cha-
legal reality
it is
that
im-
you can.
can
So
you- can you change
we
your biological
we can,
sex?
We can talk about biology,
Okay.
and we can talk about the legality of it.
We're talking about biology, though. This thing is about sport. This is about males and females.
Well, the problem when we talk about biology is
Okay.
neither of us are scientists, but
You
you
don't
and
need to
I,
be a scientist to know male and women.
you and I both know that it's a lot more complicated
What's-
than that.
what's the complication?
It's not as simple.
It's funny, man. If only he used the argument, you know, as far as how black people weren't deemed to be 100% human or something like that. And, you know, there was like a Supreme Court ruling. That was, you know, legally a legal reality or whatever the hell she called it. But that doesn't make it true. We're all human. And I'm human as much as anybody else. It doesn't matter what your skin color is. So if the Supreme Court deemed that to be legal reality, that's not observable reality. And that's what she's failing to realize. It doesn't matter what the legal system says. A man can become a woman and a woman can become a man. That's observable reality. That is reality that is unchanging. So these people are delusional. They only pick and choose parts of the laws that affirm their beliefs. And it's just really delusional, man.
As for me, it's very
Can I-
simple.
can I beco- can
and
I
for
become-
you, it may be
Okay.
very simple. But I think we're being,
Can
I think
you-
we're
can you-
indulging an ignorance
Can you
by
become?
not suggesting that
Can
there
you
is
become
more
male?
to it than that.
Can you become male?
I don't want to be
But
a
can
male.
you become male?
I don't-
Is there anything that could be done that could turn you into a male in the way that I'm male and Piers is male? Is that possible?
See, now, do you see how you've qualified your question? So you first
Can you-
asked me,
can you become a
become
male?
a male? And I would
can you
suggest
become a male?
probably yes, in terms of medically.
What?
No, you can't.
Then you said,
But
then you said,
you know that
then
that's
you
not
said,
true.
Look at Pierce's face like, bro, ma'am, get your ass off
you
here.
and Piers,
Because
All right.
and that's where we start to get complicated.
Paula, I hoped we would have taken you a little further down your journey.
People are
I
being
fear
dishonest.
when you
Of
say
kindness,
when you say
of
you think you can
kindness.
become male, you
Kindness.
can't, because male is the
Well,
sex.
I can have gender recognition,
All right.
can't I? I can
Listen.
legally become a male.
We've got to leave it there, but you can't actually become a biological male. And nor can
I don't know how much
nor can
testosterone I would need to
nor can I, you'll
compensate
be
for that.
relieved to hear, become a biological female. Because I'm quite tempted right now to start entering the cricket competition, right, and smashing female biological bowlers all
I'm
over the
telling
place
you,
and feeling
all
good about
men just
myself.
start identifying as
Ashamed.
women.
I think it's embarrassing.
you're pumping above your weight there.
Well, you wait till
female
Usain Bolt.
cricketers.
Wait till
female cricketers.
As I
think,
say, wait till
tagging
Usain
kids.
Bolt goes, I'm identifying as a woman and
good
runs
grief.
in the 100-meter final at the Olympics, and you lot all
Amazing.
go, well done, Usaini. Well done, Usaini. It's a
Yeah.
joke. Anyway, Paula, lovely to see you.
Thank you.
Mara, thank you.
He
very
said
much.
Usaini.
Zubi, great to have you here in London. Really appreciate you coming in. And go and follow this guy on Twitter. He just passed 1 million followers on Twitter, so only 7.5 million to catch me, which I know he's keen to do.
All right, let's read some of these comments. I thought that was hilarious, man. Once again, all men just start identifying as female, and this lunacy will be over in a matter of 24 hours. I guarantee it. All right, first comment says, what's wrong with her? It's one thing to believe incorrectly that men and women are physically the same, but she actually acknowledges men are stronger / faster and still believes they should compete with women. I feel like I'm being gaslit every time I watch the news. I'm left feeling almost crazy trying to understand how so many people are pushing for the most bizarre and dangerous agendas. Yeah, I'm with you on this with what's it? Anasia? Yeah. I hope I said that right. I am 100% with you. I feel like I'm literally being gaslit every single time I see these conversations. But now, really, at this point, for me, it has become entertainment. I literally watch this for entertainment. I watch this to do a video and talk to you guys about it, because I don't take these people delusional. I really don't, like, at all. If you have pronouns in your bio, on your profile page, or anything like that, you tell me what your pronouns are, or you ask me what my pronouns are, or what I identify as, or anything like that. I'm just, or you have a button or something like that on your shirt that states your pronouns or I identify as. I literally do not take you seriously at all, whatsoever. I probably won't even have a conversation with you. Next comment says, why is no one telling these women that the day you accept men as women, the patriarchy has won? Yeah, I guess men are better at being women than actual women themselves. Next comment, I truly appreciate a strong man willing to protect women, even when some women are stupid as this woman. Thank you, Zubi, for standing up for me and all women. Yeah, I don't understand some of these women that are standing up for this. As a 55-year-old woman, nothing annoys me more than other women standing up on the side of biological men, taking medals and accolades from real women. Paula should be ashamed of herself. This is virtue signaling. She's feeding the crocodile. Yeah. People like her need to be shamed into silence. Next comment says, good grief, that lady is infuriating. She's been so manipulated by the activists to a point that she's okay with throwing women and girls under the bus for the sake of men's feelings. That's literally what it is. Y'all are scared of hurting men's feelings. These are grown men. Y'all are scared of their feelings. You're capitulating to the ideology of them becoming a woman because you're scared to tell them otherwise. Oh my God. Scared of their feelings. It's fascinating. It fascinates me how some people can speak absolute nonsense and portray confidence at the same time. Yeah, I love that. I love that saying or that quote. That's the one I put at the end because I get told that all the time. You know, when I'm talking nonsense, my lady always tells me, "You always sound confident when you're saying some BS." So I know exactly what you mean, girl. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let's talk about it in the comment section. Make sure you like the video down below. And if this is your first time on the channel, consider hitting the subscribe button for more content. See you on the next video. Peace.